Everyone we see is a reflection of us. I want you to think for a moment about the possibilities of your mind being able to create anything. I mean, can you imagine being able to have a thought or an image or a creation in mind and turn it into reality? Turn it into something you can touch, tangible. I want you to think about that for a second. And ask yourself, why can't that be true? I mean, what's stopping it from being true? I believe the only thing that's stopping it is your perception or your knowing. But what if your perception and knowing is wrong? And I don't mean in a factual way or anything like that, but what if that is the conditioning? That conditioning of not being able to think outside the square, outside the bubble, or in terms of a broader scheme. It's the same thing like when you see that video of the fleas with the lid in the jar. And because they've grown up with that lid, they've always only gone to that level without over exceeding. And when they take them out of the jar, they only jump to the height of the lid. So their existence would only ever know that. So how do you train your brain to believing in something else, or something more, or a different perspective? And that's just it. That's the journey. That's the challenge that we all face. That's the whole point, to be able to break your mind free of the conditioning that we have been placed under, and to open it to the possibilities of something else. It doesn't have to be anything of specific nature. It just has to be that open thought, that open mindedness to something else, a new possibility, a different way of being taught, a different way of living, a different history. So it's not about achieving enlightenment through the end goal, or how hard you work, or how much effort you put in. We all know that with practice, you get stronger, you get better, you give commitment, these sort of things. Yes, of course. But that doesn't differentiate the good with the bad, or the top of the class students versus the middle class and the lower. It's not graded, it's not ranked, it's not judged. But you see, that there in itself is another lesson, to remove the judgment placed upon you about a ranking system that someone is better, or you must achieve to be like them or better than anyone else. But let me tell you, you don't. That's the conditioning. Those are the entrapments of the mind that has been created to keep you there. And when you notice those things, you're able to observe it and break free from it. You see, it's the intent of the person, the will, the character, the person you are, the higher self you, but your soul, your essence, the person who you really are. And it is having that right amount of courage, or that right amount of belief in yourself, that you know you can succeed and you are always where you need to be. but never forgetting the current reality that you live in and appreciating and acknowledging that moment. But being able to supersede the conditionings of the mind to be in that third tier, where anything is a possibility. So if you can imagine something in your imagination, a creation in your reality, in your mind, in your mind's eye, there are obviously going to be personal things that people want, that's always going to happen with some people because we've lived in 3D reality, in that hardship for a long time, that we want the betterment for ourselves. But as long as it's done with pure love and intent and not greed or desirability because of lacking. No, because of love, you want to share those experiences, those emotions with more people. But that doesn't incite you to go and be more greedy under the guise of that. No. You can always allow for those things because you know that they're there, because you live in that moment. You live in that energy, that it is there. You have it already, and it will come. But the mind, how would it create a reality around you? Is it of old beliefs? Is it new ones? Positivity? Is it light and grid works through the earth? What would you create? Where does your mind go? Now, observe your mind when it goes. What place does it go? When you see those images and you connect to those things, is it positive? Is it negative? Does it help New Earth? Does it help you? What is the feeling? Does it make you feel better? Does it make you feel more powerful? So you see, you have to acknowledge the darker side as well as the light. It's not all going to be lollipops and rainbows. You need that balance, that creativity. Why? Because it gives you that strength to overcome it and accept it and be able to handle it. The longer you let it attach to you, the longer it's there, the harder it is to get away. It's like another addiction. So what would your mind create? And what do you think about the idea that if the mind is powerful to create realities, then is it not possible that there are a bunch of creative minds out there, the superpowered minds, if you will, Professor X's of the world, who are able to create realities? It's plausible. Anything's possible. But when you hear something like that, how do you react? Do you react going, that is plausible? I can't prove it. I can't deny it. It is possible. Is it likelihood? Maybe, maybe not. But you do so in favor. You don't have to agree with it. But where does your brain go? Does it go, no, that's too far-fetched? Well then, is that the conditioning blocking that attachment to non-bias? So, what does your mind want? What do you want to see and imagine if your mind could create anything from a thought? I think as well, if you look at it from the devil's advocate, you can see why they would want to keep this under control or under restraint or hidden or forgotten about in society. Because the power of thought or intent or energy, from a group of people all thinking the same, That's a powerful thought. It's a powerful energy. So imagine the entire universe who have been brought up to believe one way of living, a social experiment where we all believe in a specific reality, or we all believe in one way of society living. From the past and learning about things from the past, well, that connection to the present is important. Because if you can associate the information and the knowledge that you have learnt through schools about history, through your own learning, about a past that may or may not exist, then your brain is being conditioned because you believe you are thinking outside and expanding your knowledge, but you are only learning what they're able to teach you or give you or provide for you, that they want you to learn. Never to learn outside of that. And when you question that, you are gone into a category of conspiracy or addiction, and they outcast you. So yeah. What would your mind create? Would it be peace and love and happiness, but prosperous and abundant at the same time? How much good would you do with that? What do you think it'll be like? And with that, peace and light. Take care.